happy Scrappy friends, it is Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and thank you for joining me for a Confessions of a Paper Addict design team layout. So for this layout I am using the super gorgeous cut file butterfly wreath that just came out in this month's new releases. And I am using my tracing paper. I don't have vellum. I find that vellum in Australia is super expensive. So I'm using tracing paper, and I have backed the cut file once with a layer of tracing paper, then I've popped some sequins inside, and then I backed it again with a second layer of tracing paper. So I've essentially made little shaker pockets. Now the issue with doing it this way without putting like a bit of foam in between my cut file before the layers of tracing paper is there's not a lot of wriggle room to my little sequins. So the larger separate butterfly with the dangly down bits, it sort of shakes and rattles really well. But the other smaller butterflies, they don't really shake as much, but they certainly have that gorgeous shiny effect of having little teeny tiny sequins inside. Now I've matted my two gorgeous photos with just a plain white mat, and then for softness and texture I'm going to add a whole bunch of layers of tissue paper. I'm just holding all those layers of tissue paper together with a couple of staples before adhering my photo down on top. These two photos are of my gorgeous grandfather who passed away. I am working on my photographs from 2013. So these photos aren't actually from 2013. They are from another time, but they're just favourite photos of him and us that I wanted to use in terms of remembering this day. In fact, that photo of just him I absolutely adore because he just could not believe that we could take photographs on our phone and he could just instantly see them. He just found that so absolutely flabbergasting. And I actually said to my sister last night when I was showing her this layout, I'm like, he would die if he could see Grandma right now, because we have given Grandma an iPhone and she knows how to FaceTime us, and she rings on FaceTime to see what the boys are up to. And if he was so amazed by the fact that you could take photos on your phone and see them instantly, imagine if he could see these videos. He would just be... he'd fall off his chair, I swear. So anyway, I absolutely loved scrapping these photos. I think this wreath and this background paper from from Paige Evans was just the perfect combination for me. Just the soft, fluttery beautifulness of this collection just worked amazingly. So I'm going to put that first photo sort of tucked in and under the cut file, and then the second photo I'm going to sit on top of the cut file. Now, I hope you sort of noticed beforehand, I'd cut little teeny tiny wedges of foam that I've put around the cut file just to have that popped up off the page. It was a little bit fiddly and a little bit time consuming to come up with such teeny tiny bits, and because I couldn't put large pieces of foam where the butterflies are because the butterflies are see-through because of the vellum, I did have to be careful with sort of the size of that foam that I cut out. But once I did that off camera and spent the time organizing that, the rest is super easy. So that first horizontal photo I am just sticking flat down onto my patterned paper, but this photo of Grandpa I am sticking up on foam. Then I've got a couple more butterflies that need to be added on. So I've just added a little bit of foam to that one, and I'm going to have him sort of with the strings dingling down around the photograph and just adding a little bit of foam there to support that dangly bit. And then I've got to stick on the last two, and I am going to stick those up on foam as well. So you kind of get the picture here, how teeny tiny those little bits of foam need to be to make it around the edge of the cut file, the white edge, just so I'm not seeing any foam through the vellum. I really love the look of how the vellum has the colour from the pattern paper showing through, and also just those little spots of sequins. They're really tiny sequins. I literally dug through my entire sequin stash to find the smallest teeny sequins I could. Now for embellishing, I really wanted to keep this super simple. I did not want to do too much to it at all. So I pulled out the florals I had left from the Bloom Street collection. This is the Bloom Street, by the way, from Paige Evans. And I just color match. So how there's kind of a rainbow effect in the background with the love hearts, that's what I've done with my flowers. So once I'm happy with their general placement, it's time to get sticking. Now, these all need to be stuck up with little bits of foam as well, because they're all covering a little bit of the cut file, which is up on foam, or the picture of Grandpa, which is up on foam. So I'm just adding a little smidgen of foam behind them. And then this layout doesn't need much more to be complete. I want it to be light, I want it to be fluttery, I want it to be flowy, and I certainly want those photos to be sort of the main eye-catching part of the photograph. Now the leaves, any of the flowers that have separate leaves, I'm sticking those flat onto the page and popping up the flower. I just really love that effect of having a bit of a shadow or a bit of dimension with the leaves underneath and the floral sort of popped up on top. So these ones over here, the two purple leaves are going flat onto the pattern page, and then the purple flower is going on top. And the same here with this pansy. The pansy's up, but the leaf is down. And I just really love that effect. So once I've gone ahead and stuck all my leaves and flowers on, I then fussy cut these last two butterflies. The last two butterflies I could find anywhere in this collection. I fussy cut those off one of the cut apart sheets, and I'm just going to add those two little butterflies around the page as well. I just really wanted that little bit, I don't know, a fluttery color, I guess. And then it is time for my title. I'm just labeling this one Unforgettable. As I was peeling these thickers off the page, for some reason they're not even really old. I don't get it, but most of the stick stayed on the plastic and not on the thickers. I mean, it's no big deal. I'm just adding some glue. It's just unusual. I would have expected that with an old thicker, but these aren't even that old. But anyway, it's no big deal. Just adding some glue, and I'm going to stick that one straight on top there, which I just think is perfect fit. And then I'm going to add a few little sequins just to spruce up around the edge. So I went ahead and daubed my little splodges of glue all the way around the edge, and now I'm popping on my sequins. I don't know how well you can see, but the sequins I'm pulling from that pile kind of have a pink tinge, a purple tinge, and a pink tinge to them. So I am trying to sort of color match those as best that I can, but dependent on the light you look at them, it kind of changes the way they look. Like some of the ones I'm putting at the top sometimes look pink and sometimes look purple. So I think I'm going to trouble to put the sequins in the color matching place, but it's actually all a bit of an optical illusion, and it just depends on how the light is shining on them. I do also have some plain white sequins there that are a lot harder to see. They don't have the same level of shine that I'm adding to the little clusters. And I'm just sort of daubing those around in any place around the page. Once I have finished with the sequins, I'm going to come on in with some white splatters and some gold splatters just to tie in that gold title. And I adore how this came together. I love this cut file. This cut file is so delicate and beautiful. I just, the minute I saw it, I knew. And I think it worked really perfectly with this soft collection. But I absolutely love the way this came together, and it is a perfect layout for remembering Grandpa, and I just love it. So thank you so much for watching this process with me. I hope I have inspired you to get creating. Maybe you can use some vellum in your cut files as well, or make some little shaker pockets. Thank you again for sticking around, and I cannot wait to see you all next time. Bye, everyone.